right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from Sales Pop, online sales magazine and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Ian Khan, who is up in lovely Toronto, Canada. How you doing, Ian?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited. The weather's not too bad, so here we are, and super stoked to be talking to you and your audiences.
Thank you. And Ian is the futurist, is a theoretical futurist, author, and media personality, and developed the theory of future readiness. You even created a new KPI, the Future Readiness Score, to measure organizations' ability to withstand disruptive factors. High energy speaker. You have appeared on in many media. You've been on the BBC, Fox, Bloomberg, CNN, ABC Australia, and many others. You have your own show, The Futurist, and you have a new book, Undisrupted, releasing soon. Is that right?
That is correct. So Undisrupted is available for purchase right now. It's being sold online. It is
Excellent.
actually shipping, although they said it would ship after Feb 11, but Amazon's shipping it already. So yeah, super excited about the book and everything that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've directed and produced multiple documentaries. But what we're going to talk about today is, so let's take a look, and with your futurist hat on, a little foresight and some of the trends that are going to shape us in for the rest of 2025, going into 2026. I think, Ian, to start with, let's face it. I mean, AI is obviously one of the big ones. AI has just knocked everybody sideways. I mean,
Yeah.
it's had such a massive impact in such a short amount of time. Where do you see that going?
I think it's been an exciting time, generally speaking, with AI in the news, and I think one of the reasons for that is a lot of investor money is being poured into AI,
Yeah.
into technology. When you have that much amount of money coming in, there's got to be some uptake on where stocks are going, who should invest in what. New things are emerging, innovation is happening at the same time, but that's great, and I think in parallel, what is happening, it's not just the noise from
Yeah.
a software perspective, but it's also actual strides that we've made in actual hardware technology that's making that software possible. So when you think about NVIDIA and all
Yeah.
these new chip makers, they're actually doing serious stuff that's powering this AI revolution. And so these two things to happen parallel is one of the most incredible things that has happened in our lifetimes. And I find myself very lucky to be born in this era where we're seeing many changes happen, many shifts happening. I'm one of the dinosaurs. Like, I was a teenager when there was no internet.
Oh,
So
me too. Me
right.
too. Hmm.
So when we saw, and I can say mutually that we share this feeling, when we heard that there was something called a modem and an internet,
Yeah.
and you went to the browser for the first time, and that sound of the modem connecting, it was insane. We were like, this is a revolution. And then here we are 35 years later, it's still happening.
Yeah.
Internet is everywhere. Everybody's got a smartphone, and we've witnessed multiple revolutions of different types. And so I am literally feeling very privileged to be in this era, and excited about the
Yeah.
future.
And it's interesting you were saying about the hardware side of things, and the infrastructure side, because it's funny because it started off. We're seeing much faster almost than some of the other revolutions we've seen, like the .com and the cloud and all that. But even going back a few months ago, people were going, "Oh, hold on a second, security, right?" And then people realized, okay, you can use AI with internal models and stuff, internal databases, and you can do secure stuff. And
Mm.
then it became, yeah, but the cost. Look at all the, and then Deep Sea came out last week or whatever, and they're like blew the cost argument kind of out of the water. However that shakes out, who
Yeah,
knows? But I've never seen the obstacles or the arguments that people put up be knocked down so fast.
there is a lot of unknown, because guess what, only a certain few people are involved in this whole innovative
Mhm.
process of whether it's the chips, whether it's
Yeah.
whoever, right? The average common person, you and me, common, we don't know what's happening behind the
Mhm.
closed doors of
Yeah.
Google, DeepSeek, what have you. We don't know. We'll hear it in the news, we'll see it on CNN to see, okay, what's happening, or on Sales Pop somebody will come up and say, talk about things. What is happening is there is so much change happening because of this investment, the growth thing that is happening for organizations that are innovating, that things are moving really fast. Like they're innovating, creating things we will not see for the next 2 years, but they're
Mhm.
already working on it. So there's that rapid growth has definitely taken place. And there's a lot of catch up to do. Many of the things that have been released are not even being used
Yeah.
to their full extent, right? If you look at organizations, they take years to change. Like there are some dinosaur industries like oil and gas and the airlines industry, they take decades to change. So all that change has not even been implemented. Should it be implemented? And then comes the new thing, comes the deep sea, comes the new platform that's knocking down the other one. So it's an exciting era of
Mm.
rapid change, and we need to recognize that there will be things that will happen faster, and we will have to encounter them faster, process them faster, and get them out of our system faster. So yeah, don't be hung up on where ChatGPT when it emerged. That's gone 2.5, 3 years ago. But when ChatGPT emerged,
Yep.
don't even talk about it anymore, right?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then I mean the knock-on effect of all of this, and even before AI, with the move to virtual work and being able to access global resource and all that, there's been a kind of a rapid redefinition of what work looks like, what an organization looks like. Where do you see that going? Because I think that has also been, if you go back as we do, that's been so dramatic. If you take it back, even the early days of the internet, we were still all in offices. We were still all very much,
yeah,
and even up to quite recently, working and building companies in quite a traditional way.
yeah. So I have an episode coming up on my series, The Futurist, and the episode is the future of work,
Hmm.
because it's such an important topic. I think it'll be out in March or April. Work has changed the way we see work. Like for many industries, it's still the same. People still go to
Yeah.
work, whether it's how you define it, the white collar, the blue collar, the information worker. There's so many ways of defining people. But for some industries, it's still the same. It's still the same. They go to work in the morning, they finish
Mhm.
work at night, and that's the cycle. But for many countries or people or organizations, it has changed through COVID, through remote work. I know companies that are fully remote.
Yep.
Nobody has an office. There's no office. And they're really nicely funded. They got lots of money. They're creating something. They're creating a technology, a platform, a software, what have you. So work has changed depending on industry.
Yep.
Some industries, it has not changed. So we need to know what are we talking about. But generally saying, now there are many more options of contributing your expertise to an industry, to a business, so that that value converts into commercialization or a
Mhm.
product or a solution, and you get rewarded monetarily for that, which is your paycheck.
Yeah.
There are now many ways of doing this exchange. You can be a freelancer making money. You can be, a remote worker. You could be a full-time employee. You could be a creator. So that definition has done generally definitely changed. Technology has had a big impact on that, but now there's a social element to it. We went into obscurity during COVID, and we are now
Yep.
coming back. Many people did a hybrid thing. They did a remote thing, and now they don't want to go back to work because they're very comfortable in the whole ethos of their environment, their home, their work-life balance. And but it's not happening in every industry. It's happening
Mhm.
in some sectors, and the news amplifies many of these issues, and we think it's happening everywhere. Here's
Yeah.
what's happening. Amazon recently said they have the RTO policy now, return to office, right?
Yeah.
Big news, return to office. What's going to happen? Oh my God, it's a crisis. But Amazon is a for-profit organization. They need
Mhm.
to have efficiency in their system, whether it's Walmart or whoever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Organizations need to be profitable. They're answerable to shareholders.
Mhm.
And if they're asking people that, hey, we've got a leakage in our ship and we're leaking talent, we're leaking time, efficiency, and it's costing us millions of dollars, I don't think they're doing anything wrong in
No. No.
asking that, right? So there's this whole change that's happening. There's a revolution in many industries where people want to do remote stuff, use technology. In many places, they don't want to. It's exciting time, and my episode covers a lot of it.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think part of it is, as you said. I mean, particularly for knowledge workers. I mean, you go to major cities here now, and you will see empty office buildings
Mhm.
downtown. It's really had that massive impact,
Yeah.
and it's had. and it's changed behavior too in quite fundamental ways that are amazing. Like uh, for instance, once upon a time, you could do in-person events, right? You could say go downtown Atlanta, and you knew that there was a huge audience around the office buildings. Now they're all empty, and the people are out in the burbs, and they've no interest in coming into the city for anything, let alone coming to see you. So it's kind of it's a funny dichotomy, because we've come back from COVID, and we say we want all this interaction, but at the same time we don't really want to make the effort.
Yeah, I think behind all of that is, I feel, and it's just coming to me now, is the idea of purpose. It's
Hmm.
what has been our purpose, what is your purpose, what will be your purpose, and people's purpose statement has shifted over the years. They had one purpose, then they had another, now they have another, and I think this purpose is going to continue to evolve
Hmm.
in different ways. We're seeing new cities emerging, new ways in which real estate is being recreated, new buildings are being built, and they look very beautiful. They're very, people friendly. So there's a lot of change that's happening because of this, even on the design of facilities, even on, hey, how are we going to make our workplace and facilities so attractive that people will just love coming here, right?
Hmm.
And that love coming here aligns with purpose of the person, and why should anybody work for anybody in the first place? So there's all these different interconnections right there. But I think it's great to explore your own purpose and figure out what you need. People will do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Life will go on, and things will continue to evolve as long as we put focus on growth and building something and not destroying things. I
Mhm.
think there's so much more ahead of us. Is going to be an incredible time ahead of us. We just need to know where we're headed.
Yeah. And what do you see the impact on leadership? Because I think that's a big challenge. Because again, there's a lot of people in leadership positions today who've come up like through the ranks, like we have, and through different eras. And now we have all of these different generations in the workforce. We've got all these different ways of working. We've got AI coming in. We have a lot of disruptors to the way we used to operate, and quite frankly, the way we used to lead, it's not that applicable now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Leadership has many more, um, you know, things to deal with now that they didn't have. However, I feel leadership is so much more exciting today because now leaders get involved in, the social aspect of leadership, the people aspect of leadership, not just sales, not just building an organization and growing it. That's great. It'll happen as an
Mhm.
effect of you building a great organization, I feel. And leaders have the opportunity now to grow whichever way they want to grow by focusing on people, by focusing on what people need rather than, you know what, I'm going to build this organization. You'll do as I say, otherwise you're out of here. It doesn't work anymore. So
Mhm.
the paradigm has shifted for leadership. It's more one on it's more about how do we come together as a team and grow this vision that benefits all of us and a billion other people. So leadership has changed in many ways. I feel leaders need to abide by some new codes of leadership. I talk a lot about that in my book. And I talk about future readiness and what leadership should do, whether it's execution, focus on people, focus on learning, and how to build that organization. But in many cases, most cases, I see, open up the news, whether it's a browser or your phone, you'll see different CEOs coming in the news. They're dealing with different issues. They're being criticized for different things. It's not easy being a leader, leading a company that's doing anything big. Leaders are under the microscope for doing anything and everything. So leaders need to have a different mindset, I think,
Mhm.
right now and going forward, because these things are just going to amplify more than we have right now.
Yeah, no, no, I totally agree with you, and it's been an interesting evolution to watch, and now it's probably becoming a revolution rather than evolution, because it's happening even faster.
Yeah.
One of the other things, though, you talk about future ready. You have that KPI, your future readiness score. For anyone listening, how do you assess as an organization that you are the kind of future ready, that you're able to embrace this, and you're not going to be one of those ones that's kind of people are going to look back on and say, "Ooh, whatever happened to them?"
Totally. So you know what, the analogy I can give is, if you were left in the middle of nowhere with no landmarks around you, and it was dark and the skies were dark, how would you get back home, right? And the answer is, I wouldn't be able to. If I cannot tell where I am, how
Mhm.
how will I know where to go and which
Right.
direction to go in? And that's what the future readiness score is all about. It's a barometer, it's an assessment, it's a score to know where you are right now as an organization across 7 different elements of leadership and future readiness. And so we do engagement, learning, people, culture, collaboration, um, execution. So you've got 7 things people can look at, and there's multiple parameters in there and data points in there, and it all gets rounded up to a number,
Mhm.
just like a net promoter score, which tells you how future ready you are. Are you 50% future ready, 80%, 90% future ready? And it's a great indicator of knowing, okay, I'm here right now, and let me now work on my game to improve all these things, because you do get back feedback on, okay, improve that, change
Mhm.
that, in this point. And I think leaders need data based facts that help them, that guide them to the future and where they're headed. And we love the data based approach, because we're not coming up with
Sure.
looking at a crystal ball. And so that's what the future readiness score is all about. It doesn't exist. We're the only company and organization that does it. It's a new KPI, and it's brilliant in helping understand where you are and where you should go.
Yeah. I like what you mentioned too about the learning aspect, because I feel like that's always been a challenge for organization, is the balance between, doing and forging forward, but also carving out the time to be a learning organization and continuous learning. And I feel like it's even gotten even a little bit more difficult now because of attention spans, because and now with AI, people think, well, I don't have to learn anything anymore. I'll just ask, any number of these AI agents to tell me everything. So that piece of balancing, execution and productivity in that with continuous learning, that's a tough one.
I mean, if you're not learning even what is happening and changing right now, for example, a new platform, a new software, new skill set, then you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
curiosity is going to drive your learning journey as an individual, as an organization. As an organization, it's learning from the lessons that your teams have
Yeah.
failed in or succeeded in, and cataloging them and building them into processes that will help you go a certain way. But if you're not learning, both as an individual or as an organization, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it's critical, because guess what? The other companies, the other guys, the other providers, they are learning. Everybody is
Yeah.
out there doing something different. And so don't take it very lightly. And I completely agree. Learning should be at the top of many different things. And there's so many cool ways of doing that, whether
Yeah.
it's micro learning, it's giving incentives, it's rewarding people. It's so easy now just to understand things and to learn.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, there's the company part, but there's the individual part, and I think this is somewhere where a lot of people fall down. They often sit there waiting for their organization to do something for them and to train them, to educate them, as opposed to going, well, let's face it, it's great if that happens. But if it doesn't, hey, nobody cares about me as much as I do, right? And therefore, investing in yourself. And you're right, today, you've got access to so many resources that if you're not carving out time to self educate, then you definitely are going to get left behind.
Absolutely. Remember the first thing we talked about, purpose, right?
Mhm.
This learning journey as an individual directly ties to purpose. Like, what are you thinking on a daily basis about yourself, your growth, your future? That's going to drive every decision that you're making for yourself. So gaining these skills for the future is important, but then don't wait for others to give it to you. Go
Mhm.
and seek that knowledge. It's out there, right? Amazon.com is the biggest bookstore in the world. So grab a book, learn something in somewhere else, courses, what have you.
Yeah.
You're in control of your destiny. Nobody else is. And that's what I really believe is the era that we're in. And many people actually don't realize it. It's like a
Yeah.
trick question, like, is this
Mhm.
really true? Yes, it is. You're in control of your own destiny. Go build it the way you think you should.
Yeah.
So agreed on that.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned the micro learning because it's even for people you can substitute a little bit of your doom scrolling for micro learning. I to be honest, a few weeks ago I started on this little micro learning app, and I'm learning about Greek philosophers, right? And literally from this little micro learning, like just a minute or two at a time,
Yeah.
the retention is actually quite incredible. I'm
Well,
actually speaking like I actually know a lot about Greek philosophy, which I really don't.
you
I'm
probably know a
learning
lot
as I
more than
go.
anybody else. You probably know extremely more than me. Or learning a new language. Think
Yeah.
about, even if you learn one new word of a new language per day, right? In like 30 days, you know 30 words. In a year, you know everything you need to know about being able to speak in that language
Hmm.
with 365 words.
Hmm.
So there's so much you can do, but do you really want to do it? What's your purpose? What's
Yeah.
driving you?
Excellent. Well, listen, Ian, this has been fantastic. I mean, and I think that's the thing is like about the future is figure out your purpose, and then you've got a direction. Because, like you said, if you're dumped in the middle of the night with no way of navigating your way out, it's going to be difficult. But if you have a purpose, if you have your North Star, then you're going to know where to go.
Yeah, totally. So the Future Readiness Score is available for individuals as well as for organizations. It's part of my book. There's a QR code in there that gives you access to it. Undisrupted is available online in every bookstore. So grab a copy. It's $27, I think, or 30 bucks. It's an investment that you will never regret. And do the Future Readiness Score and know where you are, and catapult yourself into success with that.
Excellent. We'll have all of Ian's information and the book and everything below this video. But
Thank you.
but thanks, Ian. Is there anything else you want to tell people about you or your organization?
No, John, I think, it's the time to claim your future. Do it right now. Don't get left behind. Invest in yourself and you will reap the rewards. I mean, I have seen this for myself and all the people out there that are doing incredible things. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Just take a step and move one step at a time. It's
Yeah.
scary in the beginning, but you'll make it. Trust me, you'll make it, but you got to move forward. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you.